My name is Hal Lafevre. I'm the CEO of a startup company called GiftSnap, and what we do is mobile gift certificates for smartphones. And we started out as an internet play. We realized that the real action is in mobile, and there's a kind of a convergence of demand for the technology, and the consumers are adapting it rapidly, and retailers are looking for a solution, a way to reach out to those customers, and that's what we're providing for them. Basically, we're competing in the gift card space because currently gift cards are everywhere. Last year there were $80 billion worth of gift cards sold, and the problem with gift cards is there's about 8% or 10% are never redeemed. So that's about an $8 billion market. And just to give you an example, Best Buy alone had $463 million worth of unclaimed gift cards last year. And so, what we do is, the problem with gift cards is if you buy a gift card and go take it to your girlfriend or whatever, even if they know who you are, they don't know who you're going to give it to. And so a lot of people think that the retailers get to keep that money. And the truth is that in 36 states, they've enacted escheat laws that basically either force the retailers to turn the money over to the state or have them put it into a reserve fund so that if those cards are ever redeemed, then it will cover that. But either way, it prevents retailers from putting that money on the books as revenue, and so it's a liability. But more importantly, where if I go buy a gift card and I can't, and I give it to you and you can't redeem it, or you don't redeem it, they don't know how to reach out to you and say, come in and use that card. And so with us, the whole transaction is electronic. So we know who buys it, we know who receives it, we know how to reach out to them, we know how to track and get them to use those cards. So there are a lot of positive behaviors associated with gift card buying that are different than people spending their own money. They'll tend to buy more of what they want rather than what they think they can afford. It's kind of like found money for them. And so less returns, all kinds of other positive behaviors. And that's why retailers really want people to come in and use their certificates. We give them a way to reach out and touch those consumers and get them to come and use those certificates, more or less eliminate the escheat issue for them. But more importantly, as I said earlier, Best Buy had $463 million in unclaimed gift certificates last year. The average gift card is about $50. So if you divide that out, it's about 87 billion gift cards, not billion, 87 million gift cards out there that they do not have any information about those consumers. And that's the real opportunity cost that we are addressing for them. Well, as an entrepreneur, the number one thing you have is your passion. If you don't have that passion, you're not going to convince anybody else to follow you. And so you have to live and breathe it. You have to live it. You have to love it. And if you don't love it, you shouldn't be doing it. And not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people have ideas, things they'd like to pursue, but they're just lousy at business. They have no interest in it. They just want to make the money, but you can't do that unless you. So you gotta love the difficult things as well as the good things about what you're doing. And when you have your passion about it, then that's what wins people over to follow you, to work with you, to partner with you, and to see your vision. And so as the entrepreneur, you first of all have to have that vision. You have to be able to impart that vision, and the way you do that is just with your passion and your commitment. And so that's what I've found about this, is just I fell in love with the idea. I've done other businesses in the past, and I've had, some were more successful than others. But this idea I just knew was the perfect kind of convergence of all my interests, and it was kind of like what I was meant to do. And so it seems to have worked out very well so far. Well, the other aspect of being a good entrepreneur is to know that any good idea, any idea that's worth anything, is big enough to float a lot of people's dreams. And so if you're selfish and all you think about is yourself when you're trying to deal with other people and get them inspired to follow you on your dream, on your mission, of what you're trying to accomplish, you're never going to get anything done. And there's too many entrepreneurs out there that have this idea, and they're so sold on their idea that they think that they have to have 75% of the whole pie, and what they find is nobody wants to play. And you've got to be generous. You've got to be giving. You've got to realize that this is for it to work for you, it has to work for everybody else. And so you got to have a big enough dream it can float a lot of boats, and that's how I look at it. Everybody involved should be doing it for so that they can realize their dream as well. And if you have that attitude about your corporate culture, you realize that you're making, if you're successful, that you're going to make everybody involved better off and richer and happier in their lives, and that's really, then they can buy into it too, and it becomes their dream. So that's kind of the way I like to do business, and I think that's the way a lot of other people, those are kind of people like to do business with as well. I'd say if you're an entrepreneur and you have an idea, or you want to be an entrepreneur and you have an idea of something that's going to change the world, don't wait. Start now. The biggest thing is you won't know how you're going to get there, and at any point in time you're not going to be able to tell anybody how you're going to get there. But you'll have an idea, and each step you take takes you to the next step, so you can kind of see that much further ahead. And so you just keep taking those steps. You keep, moving ahead. And even when times seem, there are times when you'll think nothing's working out, everything's kind of, grinding to a halt, and then all of a sudden, something else will fall into place, and you'll realize, if you just keep inching forward, you're going to get there eventually. And when I say inching forward, I don't mean that you should move like a snail. Every chance you get, every inspiration you get, act on it, do it now. You think about calling somebody, call them now. And don't be afraid to walk into anyone's office and introduce yourself and explain what you're doing. The worst they can do is say no, So what? Someone's waiting. And so some will, how's the saying? Some will, some won't, so what? Someone's waiting, and so keep moving on, And but the biggest thing is to act. A lot of people have great ideas, they sit on them, and they never do anything about it. And they'll be telling people about their dream 5 years from now, and they won't have done anything. The entrepreneurs are the guys that get out there and act on their dream now.